seem that we have another slider now. But I've already seen this slider. Oh, please address the slider until the dog and the cat are friends. Address the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the two made-up words below is most appealing to you? I gotta go with Occuboinkle. Please don't adjust the slider. Okay. Yep. No. Yes. Nope, nothing here. No. No. I didn't even get to set the time.
This is all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed.
Let's try and get the whiteboard ending. Come on. Thank you.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's see what else is here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct
Finally,
way to
I'm
the
on a
meeting room,
keyboard
and
where I
Stanley
can
knew
type
that
fast
very
and
well.
not make
Perhaps
mistakes
he
every
wanted to
4
stop by the
words.
employee lounge first.
Nice. I'm not quite sure what to do now. Also, if you go back to the start of the stream, there's some new stuff at the beginning of the game.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around.
Turn on mind control.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't even remember how you get to the mind control area. So isn't there something for, like...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
There's something that happens
Shocked,
if you...
Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad,
going over
Stanley
here?
happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped
Might
into the
be
newly
over
opened
here.
passageway.
Also, how is a 4-digit password extra secret?
Descending deeper into the building,
I really
Stanley
don't know.
realized he felt a bit
I mean, there's
peculiar.
quite a lot
It was a
of
stirring of
possibilities,
emotion in his
but...
chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
This is the facility,
Stanley
right?
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was...
Find your own monitor for the ma'am.
His emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I don't even remember which one we are. Hold on. Let me real quick look at this.
Your number 427.
427. Don't see anything on there. I think of interest anyways.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
What did I
He
expect?
spent his entire life utterly
Honestly, I
blind to
don't
the world. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad.
Neither do
or
I.
content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Right.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
Last
This
time
is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where
Oh
to
yes,
start.
blow up everything because of a single troublemaker.
You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Yep.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're going to die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
It is.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same.
Just stare at the
All
clock.
part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
I wonder wonder if there actually is a way to prevent that. Very quiet.
You have to memorize positions of like 8 buttons to turn it off.
Oh god.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Is there anything different?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
See if I can do the thing where you just immediately step out of the office before the doors can close.
Stepping...
I'm not sure if it's intentional.
The narrator just goes silent LOL.
Let's go back. Stepping into here just makes me remember how much this place looks like the back rooms when there isn't like any doors or anything. I guess let's go into the new content room. Oh, that door's closed too. Did I just soft talk myself? Wait, what's this? Oh, cool. Can't go in there.
Oh god, you have to go upstairs like 20 floors.
Oh god. Guess let's get climbing.
Read the sign 2 floors below. It says to which one you need to go to.
$760. Great. the whole stair climbing performance.
.010 game can't bop.
True. Can't even jump unless you're in the jumping circle. Still moving, right? Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to turn on the mind control facility and then get to there.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
that
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That's all.
Woo boxed. I'm fine about the mugs at the beginning.
Oh. Oh, the mugs at the beginning. Mug. This says #1 dad. That's all it says. Can I like climb up here? No.
I'm not sure if they matter.
Let's go in here
Oh, good.
again.
You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Let's get
I
over
forgot
there.
what was said about those mug.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable
Yep.
and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Try to get the test achievement.
Yes, you see,
Yeah, I don't
isn't
know
this
how
far
you can
superior to a
that.
measly port with a few minor additions?
Have to
Think of all
see.
the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear,
I also
haven't
have
quite
no
nailed down
idea.
what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be. But let's take a look
over
at some of
here.
the features I've
Can't
been
go over there.
developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally
But two smooth
spring up
brains are
around
smarter
it.
than
It'll all
one.
work itself out. Game development is much more of
True.
a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical. Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Let's look at the map. there's still these 344 chairs, but the thing is, when I started up the game this time, it didn't let me change the time. Instead, it had a crisis.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2. Now
Saying's world champion is
Also, I'm really suspicious about the bucket.
It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising.
Let's go grab the bucket.
It seems to have no purpose.
Maybe the bucket is what's making it impossible.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Let's do it this way this time.
Sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
He just picks the opposite one to what you picked. Alright.
Or actually...
The blue one sucks.
No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Alright. Let's see if we can get it without the bucket.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes, you see, you'll come to... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed.
There used to be only one filled. Now there's 3 filled. Do you think we have to visit?
Look at the back of the machine.
And I promise it will happen.
Nothing over here. And we've visited this area 3 times. So do we have to go here a 4th time? Well, let's explore a little bit and then we'll head back here again.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Alright. So we've seen Jump Circle, we've seen the map, we've seen the free trophy.
There is too much garbage around the machine to make me think it's all decoration.
We've seen the button, we've seen the merge, we've gotten the Settings World Champion achievement. We've seen the bucket. We've picked it up, but not this time. Office decorations. Alright, that's for the balloons.
Also, why am I thinking the entire The Stanley Parable 2 section is a puzzle collection?
I'm not sure we've gone to Epilogue yet. Let's go in there.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
This looks like those things you can
Epic
climb
log.
in Roblox. Oh wait, this is Settings World Champion over here.
Ah, I can see you've gotten the Settings World Champion trophy. Well done. You've experienced every setting, traveled to all corners of the settings menu. There's nothing you haven't seen. So just for you, in the Stanley Parable 2, I'm including an entirely new setting, something called Bumpscosity. What exactly is Bumpscosity? Well, I haven't quite figured that part out yet, but I know that you'll be able to adjust it on some sort of slider and that it'll be accessible from the settings menu. We'll sort out the rest of the details later. I hope you're looking forward to trying out every level of bumpscosity in the Stanley Parable 2.
Check the settings right now.
First I gotta get my trophy. I can't. Oh my god. Okay, let's experiment here. Okay, this is bumpscosity 1. Okay, bumpscosity 12. Bumpscosity 50. Bumpscosity 76. Bumpscosity 100. Bumpscosity 1000. Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it on 1000.
What is it even doing?
I don't know. Now that we've checked that out, let's visit this machine again just to check. It's still one more left, not done. I don't even remember what he said it does. What can we do here? Alright, let's begin the game again, go back there. Rest in peace, boxes. No more boxes.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Here we go again.
Is the demon crawling outside your flesh?
Sure.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
This is that same, like, bush thing for, the adventure path ending, I think. Where he told you to memorize it.
Clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really. Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features. Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy.
No.
Yes. You see, you'll come to this V. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is
How do we
technology
get that
will
final
exist. Right now,
vial
the trophy is
filled?
still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been gamers. We hear you, and I promise it will happen. What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Maybe we can go into here when our bump viscosity is already at 1000.
Ah, I can see you've gotten the Settings World Champion trophy. Well done. You've experienced every setting, traveled to all corners of the settings menu. There's nothing you haven't seen. So just for you, in the Stanley Parable 2, I'm including an entirely new setting. Something called bump viscosity. What exactly is... An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the... well, we'll figure that out later. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked my...
I'm gonna have to search it up. Sadly. Let's just begin the game again real quick.
Spoilers, wah.
Zed. How to get test achievement, please ignore. How to unlock the test achievement, please ignore achievement. This achievement is unlocked by finding all 6 of the action figures and completing the unlocked epilogue. Hold on. So what I'm getting at here is that there's a way to get into the Stanley Parable 2, but we don't know how to actually get into it. How? I don't even know. Let's see. I like how this guy...
I'm just gonna go search up a YouTube tutorial.
Alright. For some reason it says that Stanley Parable's endings are not as epic as Elden Ring's multiple endings. I don't know why they were comparing that.
go to the red and blue door choice.
Alright. Let's go.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Wait. Did he say that before?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
There used to
I realize that
be a
investing your
cardboard box
trust in
there.
someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stan. What? Really? I was in the
Can
middle
you
of
open
something.
this
You
door?
have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that
Yeah,
I want something
key
bad
card.
to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is
Alright.
important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Don't choose either.
Alright. Go for this one. Just close the door. Just go backwards.
Wait, what?
Uh,
I wasn't told about the lock.
oh.
It's behind that white door.
Yeah, how do we get a key card? How to get key card?
YouTube plus help.
Stanley Parable 2.
Also, there is another one on the stairs.
Another one on the stairs.
Crazy.
I'm pretty sure I already did that one. Somebody did give the dude help on the key card area, but the help got deleted. Eight years ago, somebody said the Stanley Parable has there's at least one secret nobody's found.
Another one in the warehouse.
Are we talking about, like, key cards? I guess let's go grab that key card then. Assuming it's
No LOL.
Oh.
I actually have no idea about them.
Okay.
I probably should not constantly spam the forward 10 seconds button and watch it fully.
Yeah, probably. This isn't even Stanley Parable, it's Scarlet Nexus.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Just gonna keep
Stanley
exploring,
decided to
I
go to
guess.
the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Maybe there's something in here on the
Yet
table.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Can I get up on here? It'd be really nice if you could zoom in.
Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Damn it,
upstairs to
closes
his
too
boss's
fast.
office.
Oh boy. Bruh. Looking at the elevator. Okay, I can't have the elevator. I'd like to go up.
Apparently there are actually 8 figures.
Ah. where I came out of. Let's go down. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here. Saying I can hit something here.
There are literally 0 tutorials about the locked door.
Yeah, probably because this game came out so well. It didn't come. Well, the new version came out so recently. Is there anything that actually happens here? Nope. Well, waste my time.
There are multiple hour-long videos about all new content, but not this door.
Yikes.
The moment.
Okay. Let's go back here again. Actually, what's down here if we do this? Nothing. The light turned on again. Let's check the whiteboard real quick. Is there anything important there? Oh yeah. Wait, what?
I got an idea.
What was it?
Go into the new content door.
Alright. No, I can't.
Collect the showcase figure.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Also, you can't actually go to the red-blue door choice if you bring the bucket, lol.
Ah. Darn. Lovely. I can't. Nah, I can't do that.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new
This is
content
like
for it
George
should live up to
Orwell's
that
book,
legacy.
1984.
So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense, I say. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Alright. Oh. We can't collect it. So we already collected it. Darn. I don't know. Wait, hold on a second.
My thought was that if you reopen the game you would have to recollect the showcase figure to make the other appear.
Scanning this QR code brought me to the official Stanley Parable 2 website.
A what?
There's nothing important on the website. Yep, nothing important there. Great. Let's get the
A
bucket.
common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket.
You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it?
Wait, what's
The
this?
glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Can't open that.
Does anyone give
I
out
scrolled
awards
so
for
far
most
down the YouTube
enjoyable
tutorials
budget
it started
video
showing
game?
FNAF
That
figures
really should be an
unboxing.
award if it isn't already.
Yikes. Can you just go backwards? Nope. I don't know what to do here. Stanley Parable figures. Okay, the second figurine is under the stairs to the boss's office in the lower area.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
boarded
up
off
to his
the
boss's
broom
office.
closet.
Hoping he might come into a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
Also
boss's
some
office.
endings are changed if you have the BUCKET.
I don't know how you can even get the
But
bucket
Stanley
out of
just
there.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility
Is
of
this
facing
where
his
the-
boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he
It's
taken
not
that risk?
here, bruh.
All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously
mean
out of
something?
existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Bucket. What? Oh, I am confused.
Can you try bringing the bucket?
I can try bringing the bucket. It says here that you can... It says you can somehow put the bucket into the escape pod.
Oh, good. You noticed my
The escape pod
something very
of
exciting
that
to show
one
you.
ending that we got. And that will appear in the skip button ending after. I don't even remember how we got the skip ending, but I was pretty sure that we got the skip button ending by going into the new content door. But now the new content door has this.
Are there even official names for endings?
I think
You see,
there
Stanley,
is.
I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley
In this
Parable
video, this guy
2.
has the bucket and the balloons in the office.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. They could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around
Reset
them.
shenanigans
It'll all
time.
work itself out. Game development is much more of a...
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Yes.
Calling it the Stanley
Where's
Parable 2 is just so much
exit?
catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there.
Let's
It's
get-
future-oriented. It
let's-
screams progress and innovation
Let's get
and
the
long-term
balloons
franchising
and let's
potential.
get the bucket and
Okay, how do we get reassured the reassurance bucket stays?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet
I
decided
don't
on
know.
this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all
Blue
along.
one sucks.
Get Well Someday it is.
Yeah, I picked that one because that would mean that the white one would get picked.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind as your heart. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Did you
Can
release
feel
the
it?
pocket
The
hurricane?
glow of comfort.
I'm not
And in
quite
fact,
sure how
can I
that.
say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma
Not
as well.
quite sure how to do that.
I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Alright, so
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
now
That was a
let's.
joke about the sound you made while waiting.
Oh. Alright, I guess let's just try. Go to the exit and see if that helps anything.
This is the 6th message on this stream.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Let's
Ready to
go.
move on now?
What's this?
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Alright, let's do this.
I mean, there's potential here,
Not
right?
yet.
It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
It's gonna take me back to this title screen.
I think the narrator accidentally started making a mod instead of a game.
Okay. Just want to check something real quick. Okay, no. The game cannot change its own name.
This is the story.
Also, how did they get so much blood to paint the entire building with it?
Co-workers were gone. What
I
could it
don't know.
mean? Stanley decided to
So
go
now
to the
we
meeting
should
room.
have the
Perhaps
bucket.
he'd simply missed a memo.
Yes.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
That's what we've been waiting for. Oh, now the new content door is closed.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Bucket woo.
Can we enter the broom closet with the bucket?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
Go the correct path.
Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
The narrator started raising his voice, ending potential.
Settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take our hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Wait.
All right, I've got a second sticker.
Don't
back
exist
here,
the
and I'm going
closet.
to snap it on as well because I think
highly feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
He's supposed to give a second
If you're
sticker.
ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a
Yeah.
bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket.
Okay, now leave.
There's a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Alright.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down
Go
into
check
an
the
emotional
toilet.
dumpster fire, if not for the
Oh,
soothing
well, I
presence
can't
of the bucket.
now.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket
Crap,
that he
crap,
didn't
crap,
notice the
crap.
keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything
what
on the device
happens
was
if we
useless,
just keep on
since he
doing
could never
this.
possibly know that the combination was 2845. Two, 8, 4, 5.
There's another figure on the way, I think.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by
Bruh.
itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Okay, I don't think anything happens.
What are you doing?
You found one of them.
I don't know.
One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for
I was just
collecting all
saying,
of these.
if you'd
Only
get
the
mad if I
intrinsic
kept on
pleasure of a
doing
job
the
well
things,
done. You can't buy
the
that sort of
codes.
happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I think your cat wants to get pet.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large
I
door
know
that
me.
read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both...
Also, my god, how loud is it meowing?
It's not that loud. I do a mixture real quick. Ah.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
It probably doesn't want to melt.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
What do you think? I don't know. Let's just... Okay, let's turn it off for now.
Turn it on.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
That was a very delayed message. We'll go back and turn it on though.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths.
Bucket rule 3-4.
No, don't
Stanley
even
can't
start.
leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley go. Very soon now, he was about to
Actually,
No, God. What?
I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful.
Does not
with time
exist.
from now on.
Thank God.
Stanley
Hog.
lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
What? Sesame. Oh, username access. I can't read the rest of that. New content door is still locked.
Stanley
Do the
thrust bucket
confusion
tightly
ending.
into his chest and entered the door.
Oh, how do I do that again? I still want to check the toilet and turn the mind control facility on, and then we can do the confusion ending. What the?
Wrong door.
I know, I'm gonna be doing the...
Then take the elevator.
Oh, you're gonna need the confusion ending thing. Trust the completionist instinct. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless, to be honest. There will be a reward for finding them all. A large room, lots of boxes. Somewhere, both red and blue. Private smelling place for an important person. Stairs, something to do with stairs.
Coming to a staircase,
Actually, let's
Stanley
grab
and the
this
bucket
real
walked
quick.
upstairs to the boss's office. Another miniature Stanley
Huh.
figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name. Oh, what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Alright, let's go check the toilet and then turn the mind control thing on.
Does the mission board actually change?
Okay, I'm going back to
I
the
don't know.
name of these little Stanley figurines and figures. What do you think, Stanley?
Right.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by one? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds.
Bro, what?
Silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, living through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Alright, let's do the confusion ending now.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was.
I wonder how confusion ending will look under the bucket's control.
I don't know.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
What?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket
What?
that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I looked away for like 10
Look at
seconds.
that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the
Say,
fans,
open any
Stanley.
of these.
Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. I want to keep my bucket.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
No.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine.
Wait, what?
Oh man, how do I
Now listen to me.
deactivate this thing?
It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley
refuse.
Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer,
Must
you'd see
find
that
the
its
power
desire to
button.
crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
No.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you.
Dear
Tell
Bucket
such
Destroyer, code.
spellbinding stories about you, all of its new friends. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had seen warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Now I want to see what happens if you do the video game ending thing with the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Figures.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk.
Right,
But Stanley
I forgot
chose
about
not to
that.
think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did.
Wait,
whatever
where
the
are
bucket
you going?
asked.
I'm gonna try and do the video game ending with the bucket.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket?
You can
I suppose
bring the
that would explain
bucket.
a lot about your behavior up to this
Darn.
point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay, fine.
Can you make the narrator speak slightly louder?
Yeah. Hold on, just wait for it to load.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
There you go.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1.
10
Is
volute.
this a bucket?
Wait, what? I did increase it a bit. It's the maximum it can go. I'm just gonna...
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket.
Wait,
not an
what?
actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation
Oh
of
my
a
God.
bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yep.
Correct. This is a bucket.
The
Damn it.
message saying 10 volute was the 110th message on the stream.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Wait, are all the options correct?
Maybe?
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Laughing.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This
What?
is a bucket.
What?
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Not.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know
Everything is no longer cake,
and
it's
I don't
bucket.
appreciate the implication that nothing is a
Yep.
bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
No.
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from
No.
the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
Don't.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, it's wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll
Don't
put
you
back
dare.
all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers.
TSPN PCS confirmed.
Solitude was terrifying to him. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Alright, let's listen to the bucket this time.
To his chest.
Let's
This was
go
not
up
the
there.
correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Alright.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to
Sussy
have
imposter
none of
vent.
them. And now, we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Alright, we need to be sus. Oh, great, where am I? Can't ever stay on route on this game.
Okay, this is day number 295.
Sussy imposter arrived.
I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
This is a bucket.
And the emptiness
Dear
in
God.
my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. Still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden
Is this
ticket.
Stanley? Is
But I
this
have to be
the
careful,
narrator?
because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Camporata.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck, bro? What the fuck is this? Why is there deep lore surrounding this
This is
bucket?
now a horror game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure.
We have the trophy
together.
now. We can actually follow the bucket's directions this time without venting.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? What? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Which dark room? Oh, that dark room. Yeah.
MF literally like he's in a dream.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life.
Alright, bro. I wonder what happens if you unplug the phone with the bucket on you.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket
different.
because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend.
Where's my bucket?
And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Bucket. No, I want to go back to work.
The Stanley Parable
Damn it.
Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Where'd the bucket go? Just come back in here.
It's on your table.
Oh. I don't know how I missed that.
Wow, TTS, nice timing.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well?
Yep.
To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object?
That was
I want to
like
say
a
something,
1
but I
5-second
don't know
delay.
how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk.
It's not just a
All it
bucket,
would
bruh.
ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Yeah, do a mic trick real quick. Babe. What?
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Key narrator, do you wanna meet God?
I say, better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press X to go home to work to home to work to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The
am I
bucket could tell me what
trapped here?
to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Are the devs saying Bucket and Stanley had the...
My God, the bumpscosity in here is absolutely overwhelming. 1,000? You people have got to be nuts. How can you stand this much bumpscosity?
So that's where it came in.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What other endings could he get with this? I'm trying to think. Actually, let's collect the final thing here. Where is it? Alright,
Go crazy.
Go crazy. Sounds good.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's.
I'll be right back. Alright, I am back.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be found for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned its gaze, but said nothing at all. And that's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Aw, man.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of
course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize.
Did they just slap a PNG of a bucket?
How cruel.
Probably.
Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work. All of his co-workers were gone.
Alright.
What could it mean?
Well, to get
Stanley
the final
decided to
stick
go to the meeting room.
and
Perhaps he
the
had
key
simply missed a
figurine,
memo.
I think we have to leave the bucket behind. Because we have to go to the red and blue doors room, which the bucket cannot get to. This looks different.
You think correctly.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you.
The controller is
all the
drifting.
time.
It's trying
There's
to
someone
throw me
you've
off
been
the
neglecting,
edge at the
Stanley.
wrong time.
Someone you've forgotten? What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Oh.
Give me a chance. And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines. Now listen carefully,
Great.
This is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
So let's begin the game again, I guess.
Reset.
Yeah, that's what I figured. All the balloons are gone. What
Stanley,
the
I'm sorry,
fuck?
but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figures. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Was this here before?
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
What?
Collected.
And here was the second Stanley.
How did...
You found this one all on your own, just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them.
There are
let alone
1/8 figures
6.
actually.
But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
It was under the stairs, right?
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Oh.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened. This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Oh my god.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else. And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Bruh.
No. Not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards.
Is this the
We'll do
bush?
the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Can we collect these again?
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
I wonder what happens if you fall off here.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one. This was our second figly. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more
Guess we have all of them
memories,
now.
Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What can... Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then, somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with...
Lori.
Came up with a character named Stanley to do my thing. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling the story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley. The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. A good bucket.
A strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
In there.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Step in.
Gotta put the bucket in the capsule. How does the bucket disappear?
Adios.
Buy a bucket. What the fuck?
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Man. How do you,
Paper.
okay, put it in there, but I don't know how to get to the skip button ending again now. Oh, so that's good. Yeah, I know, 'cause
Stanley
you have
decided to
to...
go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and
Go
constantly
into the
needed
new
support.
content
And
room,
try not to lose this one
but-
too, you dolt.
Wait, what if we lose this one as well?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, I kinda wanna lose this one as well. Too now. Just to
Still
see
no
what
one was
happens.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find her. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping...
Let's go back now. of this one as well.
All of his co-workers were... Wait,
what?
no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office? The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Darn. I'm running out of ideas of what to do with this bucket. I don't know. I think I might just end it here. Yeah.
Adios again.
Yes. So yeah. Like, subscribe to my Ship Golf channel too. See ya.